Well, this came as a bit of a surprise, but the unreleased N64 version of Cubivore, aka Animal Leader, was found and released. For those of you that are unfamiliar with the story behind Cubivore, it started off its life as a Nintendo 64 disk drive game, and eventually, as that system failed, it was ported over to the cartridge format and never released on the N64. Eventually, it was released on the GameCube. Now, Nintendo didn't have a lot of confidence in this particular title. They didn't intend to bring it over to the West, but Atlas thankfully picked it up and localized it and released it, limited, from what I understand, over here in the United States. Also, from what I understand, the game is crazy expensive. Like, I played the game years ago and it was expensive then, and it's just gotten worse and worse and worse because it's a rare and kind of cult classic-y kind of game. Now, the N64 version of the game was discovered and released on NESWORLD. I'm going to go ahead and put a link in the description below so you can check it out for yourselves. There are multiple articles detailing basically getting the prototype, trying to get it to dump properly, looking at different assets and textures, and then ultimately realizing what it was and releasing the game itself. So big props over to them for releasing this nice little gem. Now, as you've probably seen from the GameCube footage I've been showing off, this looks like a Nintendo 64 game. It looks like an N64 game in terms of its simplicity and like polygon count. The crispness and the resolution looks a little nicer than an N64 title, but it still looks very primitive for the GameCube. And of course that is because it was developed for the N64. And I'd always thought, hey, you know, I wonder what the N64 version looked like. How much did they actually polish it up before releasing it on the GameCube? And as it turns out, not much. Comparing the N64 to the GameCube, it is near 1-to-1. Now, granted, I haven't played very far in the N64 ROM so far, but from what I have played, it is just shockingly similar, both in terms of what you actually do to progress within the game, but also what it looks like. The environments are, like, exact or near exact. Obviously, there are some differences. So, for example, in the menu, in the GameCube version, you have a surround sound option, where you don't have that in the N64 version. You also have a rumble option in the GameCube version, and no rumble option in the N64 version. Control, of course, is also a little bit different. You can't really see here, but in the GameCube version, basically, you press your sort of trigger button, your lock-on button, and then jump to attack and eat the other babies, which is what you're doing in this game. In the N64 version, you toggle on and off the Z button. So you hold down the Z button and then you let go of it to pound. So it's sort of like a slingshot effect, like you build up power and then you let go. So of course, obviously just very minor differences in the control. Another example being with the GameCube, you have smoother control over the camera with the C stick, whereas you have the C buttons in the N64 version. Again, very minor differences here. That said, I wanted to kind of let you all know about this as quickly as possible, so as people play through this game more and more and kind of get to those later levels, I would imagine there would be more differences. I would hope. Otherwise, what were they doing? Like, they were just sitting on this game, like a complete game. They just decided not to release for some reason. I don't know. This game is strange. And per my point regarding it sitting around for a while, this build is seemingly from 1999. The retail game was released in 2002. And again, I don't know how complete this build is because I've only played the first couple of levels, but it seems as if this game was in limbo for a while. Now before we go, today I thought it'd be fun to just showcase some gameplay, pure gameplay, no commentary. So, if you're itching for some more of that, here it is. I hope you all enjoy. So again, big thank you to NESWORLD for releasing this ROM. Very good on ya. It's an interesting game to play. I never thought we'd see the N64 version of this. Like, it was never even like really, like I knew about it, but it never was really on my radar for something to look for. Like, it was just so out there. But I am glad that it is here. I hope that you all get the chance to enjoy it as well. And if you like this type of content, make sure to subscribe, click the notification button, join us on Patreon if you feel inclined to do so. But aside from that, I do appreciate you just showing up and watching. So thank you so much, and we'll see y'all next time.